What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Eclectic Beard. So this go around, we got Americans when they realize the entire world doesn't revolve around them. I'm just gonna put this out there. I was trying to take and react to another video of the same title from a different channel, and I'll be honest with you, the way that one was presented, driving me insane. Because somebody was they were explaining after every one of them. I got about 3 little TikToks in, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this, because that's aggravating. And I know, I'm doing the same thing. I get it. But when you're having to take and actually, when you're stopping and giving your point of view, and then somebody takes and, in between the TikToks, whoever did the video is basically doing what you're doing. It's like, okay, this is a double reaction at this point. So, yeah. By the way, let me know in the comments whether or not you've took and run into the Americans who think that the world revolves around them, or revolves around America. Because I love reading y'all's stories. Y'all's anecdotes are just like, oh my God, gold.
I've been living in Spain for the past 4 years. I recently went home for the first time in 2 years to Nebraska, and I was kind of like letting my family know how my job is going and whatever. They asked me like how many students I have. I was like 15 to 20. They were like, is there a bunch of other English teachers in your city? I was like, yeah, there's quite a few. And my uncle actually said, that many people want to move to America in your city? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like,
bro, like, English isn't the most spoken language in the world. Just saying. Like, there's more people that speak Spanish than English. So,
that's why people study English, no? They want to move to the United States. I was too stunned to speak.
Okay, screw it. Here's my embarrassing moment, my true facepalm. I know you're gonna judge me, but whatever. When I first moved here, I was looking at a website in French, obviously, and I was looking for how to convert it into English. So I went to where the little flags are, in the corner of the screen, and I could not find an American flag anywhere. So I was like, what the heck, this doesn't make sense. There has to be a way to translate it into English. And then I found the British flag, because Americans did not invent English.
So yeah, this is the one I actually stopped on. Like, I took, and after this video was over with and they started the little explanation, because I had already stopped it at this point when I was recording the video from the other channel. Yeah, that's one of the things. It's just read my comments. It's amazing how many of y'all run into folks who have been asked, who ask you, where'd you learn to speak English so well when you're from England? That's a big indicator, in my opinion, because number one, it shows a lack of history. Like, just the fact that it's like, what are they teaching kids in school these days? Because that's one of those things that should have been, that's history 101. We were an English colony. We had to be taught it somehow.
And I always judge myself for that one. That one was pretty bad.
No, this is a real thing. Like, I'm educated now, but I remember being a kid about like 10, 11-ish, and it was actually surprising to me that European history continued. Like, okay, well, Europeans came to America, and then European history stopped, right? Because nothing else mattered after that, because there was America. What do you mean that they continued living lives and having history over there between the time when America was started and when we rescued them in World War II? I'd like to say that was just American education when I was a kid, but I think it's American education in a lot of places now.
See, that's what... that's the thing. I don't know. So I stopped going to public school in 7th grade. I got pulled and got homeschooled for a year. Not 7th grade, but 5th grade. Got homeschooled for... Yeah, I got homeschooled for a year and then went to private school starting in 7th grade. And that's one of the things I'm thankful for, because the private school, the education I got, actually, the world history didn't just like stop after the founding of the U.S. Like, we learned about all kinds of just it's one of the reasons why I love history so much, because we not only did we take and learn about, you know, American history, but we learned about European history dating back to like before Charlemagne and stuff like that, and you know, all the way up to like, you know, what caused beginning of, you know, what caused World War One, and you know, all the different like the Ottoman Empire, you know, the Russian Revolution, and what happened, you know, how it was in Russia after the revolution, and Lenin and Stalin, and we learned all of that kind of stuff. And it's fascinating to me that kids these days are so freaking clueless on stuff. Like, this stuff I learned in school, and I don't know if it's because I went to a private school and the history was more in depth or what, but it's crazy to me that that's a thought process that fella had.
When I first moved to Spain and I started dating my partner, I was chatting with an acquaintance from back home, and I said, yeah, I'm dating for somebody from where I'm living. Their response was, I love you so much, I'm really excited for you, but please be careful because you never know if somebody might be using you for a green card. I was shocked. And the irony of the situation is that we ended up getting a civil partnership so that I would be able to stay here.
Assuming she...
I'll be honest with you, that one I'm not that surprised with, because we got shows like 90 Day Fiancé on TLC, which has went down the gutter, because used to TLC, you actually learn shit, because, you know, the learning channel. But stuff like 90 Day Fiancé, where these people have been dating people from across, you know, from other parts of the world, and you see these fuckers that actually use these people for green cards, male or female, taking used, you know, girlfriend used the boyfriend for the green card, or the boyfriend, you know, girlfriend used boyfriend, you know, boyfriend used girlfriend for green card, girlfriend used boyfriend for green card, girlfriend used girlfriend, that kind of, like, it's boyfriend used boyfriend, like, we've seen that stuff on that show. So that one, I'm not surprised that would be something that they said at all, but that might be based on those type of reality shows. That's the only thing I can figure, maybe.
She means us U.S. Americans.
Okay. So being that I am a U.S. immigrant living in Costa Rica, I hear stories all the time from Costa Ricans who like work for call centers, and they tell me the most horrendous stories, which it doesn't surprise me that we people...
Them poor folks working in a call center. That's one of those jobs I'm not sure I could do, just because somebody start going off at me, and I'm pretty chill until I'm not. And when I'm not, well, I don't think I'd work at a call center.
From the U.S. have the audacity. But I am now starting to collect my own stories, because I am now on the phone with people from the U.S. all day as a travel consultant for a Costa Rican-based travel agency. And one of my very first clients that I ever got on the phone said to me, who happened to be from the great state of Texas, "Now listen, darling, I don't like foreigners much. So when I get there, I want to make sure that I'm not around foreigners."
If you don't care for, why are you going to travel outside the U.S.? Why? Bro, the audacity of people. Oh my Jesus.
Like foreigners much. So when I get there, I want to make sure that I'm not around foreigners. What? I said, sir, I think you might be confusing Costa Rica with Florida. Florida is lovely this time of year.
I've lived in Europe since 2018. I say Europe because I lived in France, Spain, and Belgium. Last year, I went home for the holidays to the US, and I kid you not, I was asked, do they celebrate Thanksgiving in Europe?
When I was a kid, I remember watching the Olympics and thinking it must be so hard for them to not cheat for the Americans.
Oh, Jesus, this idiot. Okay, so yeah, this was actually the first video in the other compilation I had started watching. She was the first video, and this is a level of stupidity hard to grasp.
And like the judges, and not give the athletes that are on the American team more points because we're so awesome and everybody loves us and we're like the best country. And so like, how are you not going to give more points to us?
Yeah, that's one of those, like, that kind of stare, open mouth, just like, wow, you actually thought that. Oh.
Literally, when I arrived here in Colombia, I met some American people, and when I asked them, so where are you from? They were like, Indiana. And I was like, I don't care what country. I was like, I know. Where is Indiana? Just tell me America or United States. What would you want to precise your state? Like, so selfish.
I don't know if I agree with that. Like, she asked where they're from. She didn't ask, the generality of, United States. I mean, it's clear as you're talking to them, you're probably figuring they might be from the U.S. But Indiana, I don't think that's selfish to take and be like, oh, I'm from, South Carolina, or I'm from Alabama, or I'm from Indiana, or I'm from California. Like, I don't think that's selfish at all. That's more of you asked, you got told. I mean, you even took and said you knew they were Americans, so.
It's no surprise that we feel this way. We call our baseball championships the World Series. There's like one Canadian team. Win the Super Bowl or the NBA championships, world champions. We pretend we're the only ones playing these sports.
That's very true. And we're not the only country that plays these sports.
Wait, you mean to tell me that it doesn't? There's other countries? I thought you guys were just our states.
Newsflash, Americans. The world does not revolve around you. Sorry, from Canada.
7 years ago.
All right, so there we have it. Americans, when they realize the entire world doesn't revolve around them. I'll be honest with you. Most of these, except for like the last couple of them, were... Some were more just facepalm inducing than others. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, some of this stuff is like the one with the Olympics. It's like, wow, really? The fellow talking about it, thought that European history basically stopped when people started immigrating to the U.S. And it's like, that's more of a failing of our education system, I think, than maybe than anything. But for me, using that as an excuse for everything is almost, it's kind of flimsy in my opinion, because there's this lovely invention called Google. And not only can you find conspiracy theory and, news articles and, how to take and do different things, but you can also learn world history. Like, you can, Encyclopedia Britannica, you can find stuff from that on the internet through Google. Like, history.com exists, and it covers, and there's all kind of stuff that you can learn off of that. Like, there's so many different websites. So the whole excuse of everything being part of the, it's a failure of the education system. While that's true to an extent, I think people's comfortability with their own ignorance, I think, is as much of a problem as anything. But some of this is just, wow, what? Woo. Yeah. So this is definitely a different. Yeah, it doesn't show us in the best light. There we go. Put it like that. That being said, y'all be good to each other. Love yourselves. Peace.